I don't care how many properties you get. I don't care how many years you got in real estate. You need to always be a sponge. You need to always learn every single opportunity that you have. So even though I got 34 years in, I'm still learning. I still go to conferences. I still book people's calls, and I'm still investing in myself in real estate because real estate transition, real estate pivots, real estate correct itself. I was around for 2008. I seen what happened. I know that the most valuable piece for me in my business is investing in myself. You do what you love, just keep doing it. It's not work. I get frustrated. I go through the different things just like anybody else do. But the difference is that I don't let anything control my emotions. If it control your emotions, it control your mind. If it control your mind, it control your money.
Hey, welcome back to the Building Billions podcast. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that button below, like, share, comment, and share this with somebody that you want to see win. Tonight's conversation is just like any other conversation. I got one of my super friends with me, all the way from Philadelphia,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Calvin Cannon Jr.,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Cash Flow, the real estate investor with over 30 years in the game, skin in the game.
Yes, sir.
He really got properties, really got mentees, really doing it out here. So this one of these episodes you want to lock into. You may want to rewind, repeat, and share this. What's up, my guy, Cal?
Oh, man, let's go. What's going on, man? It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you, Mike. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. So, how did I introduce you, man? Did I leave out anything?
Nah, man,
Did I tell the truth?
You told all the truth, man. Truth is proof. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you told all the truth, man.
Cool,
Absolutely.
cool.
I appreciate that.
So introduce yourself to my audience. Let them know
Yeah.
who you are, where you're from. We'll spend a little time there, but not much.
Yep, for sure. So my name is Calvin Cannon Jr. I'm from the Philadelphia area, born and raised. Been doing real estate for 34 years, 3 decades, and still running. And basically what I focus on is making sure that you understand that real estate is a business and doing the business of real estate. I'm in properties every day. I do this for real. I'm not a real estate influencer. I am a real estate investor and somebody who does the business of real estate. So yeah, that's what I do, man.
So 30 plus years in the game.
Yeah.
I kind of watched one of your last episodes and kind of heard that you bought your first property for $5,000.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about that. How did you get a property for $5,000? Was it back in the day?
Yeah, so it was back in 1991 to be exact. The summer of 1991. I was registered to Temple University College. I was a college student, freshman in college, and I really wanted to get out of my parents' house. Right? I wasn't really chasing real estate. I was chasing independency, and my mom was a very strict mom. Didn't allow me to be out at a certain period of time, and I had to be inside. I couldn't have my cell phone, and back then we had AOL. Same with the computer. So I needed to get out of my parents' house. So I went to college for freedom, not even education. I went to college to get out. And then my grandfather knew a young lady that had a property at 32nd and Cecil B. Moore, which was a duplex. She was interested in selling it for $5,000. I didn't have no money. But what I did have, I had something called a college stipend fund, which I was supposed to buy my college books and from my room and board. They gave me $5,000 because I filled out the application late. So during the semester, I didn't have the money. But once the semester ended, they sent me the check. So I deposited the check cleared, and then I took that money and I bought that property for $5,000.
What type of property was it?
A duplex.
Duplex.
Yeah, duplex.
So that means you own both sides of the place?
Yeah, so in Philadelphia, it's the duplexes are up and down over top of each other.
Okay.
So I owned the whole entire building. The building was vacant when I got it, and very well so. You know what I mean? It was bad. Some of the windows didn't work. Some windows was boarded up. The front door, I used furniture to block the front door as a lock. I didn't care, man. I had roaches, rats running around there. Probably had some cats and raccoons in there. It didn't matter. It was mine.
It was yours.
Yeah, I felt good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so $5,000. How did you buy that? Like, who did you buy it from? You bought it from the lady. She owned it.
Yep. So it was a young lady that she owned it free and clear. And when my grandfather knew her, so she was telling my grandfather that she wanted to get out the neighborhood and she just wanted to sell the property. So I met her. I took the money out the bank. I gave her the $5,000. My grandfather handled the paperwork at that particular time, gave me the keys. I moved in. I never even asked questions about no paperwork, no nothing. I just wanted the keys.
I see.
Yeah.
How long did you stay in that property?
For about 12 to 15 months.
Okay.
And then another entrepreneur gentleman who had his own pharmaceutical entrepreneur business. You know what I mean? Inside of the streets.
Okay.
He actually saw me coming in and out going to college, and he stopped me one day and he was like, "Hey, look, I want to buy that building." And I'm just like, whatever. You know what I mean? Just went in one ear out the other. Kept going back and forth to school. A couple of weeks went by. He saw me leaving again, and he was like, "Listen, I want to buy it today." And he had a bag with him, a duffel bag, and he opened up the bag. I seen the money. I said, we went back inside the building. As he showed me the money and told me, listen, this is $60,000. I want to buy it. As he's talking, I'm packing my book bag with my school books and all the clothes that I can take.
Right.
I packed up. He had an envelope full of all these papers. I sat down. He pointed where he wanted me to sign. I signed. After I signed everything, he shook my hand. I grabbed the bag. I grabbed my book bag and that bag of money, and I was gone.
Ooh wee.
Yeah, I was gone.
Yeah, and then light bulb just clicked from there, right?
No, not really. So I took the money. I went back to my parents' house. Went inside, showed my mom the money. I told her she can quit her job. I told her we was rich. My mom looked at me and she just gave me like this deep stare, man. And she said, "Where'd you get this money from?" And I said, "The guy at the apartment. He bought the apartment and he gave me the money." She just looked at me and said, "You put your coat on. Get in the car." And she took me to the police station. I mean, yeah, at Broad and Champlos is the 24th, North District Division, which is detectives. It's a police station, and then they have the detectives over top. She took me there. We went inside, and she told the detective that I came home with a bunch of money. He took me in the back. He asked me the same thing my mom asked me, and I'm like, this guy at the apartment building gave me the money.
Her mom ain't playing.
Mom wasn't playing, man. I mean, you know, a lot of my family was into the streets and things like that, so she didn't want me to get caught up in that type of drama. The detective put us in the car, drove us back to the apartment. The guy was there with his crew, starting to clean up, and then detective went in first. Me and my mom sat in the car. About maybe like 10, 15 minutes go by. Detective came out, take us inside the house. He introduced my mom to the gentleman, and the detective looked at my mom and said, "Just under the real estate transaction. Everything is good. He can keep the money."
Bingo.
I was like, man, let's go. I was like, we rich. You know what I mean? We rich.
60,000. That's back in the 80s, right?
91.
91. Yeah,
91,
so that's
92.
a lot of money back then for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
And then, so that was your first deal.
That was my first unofficial deal. Yep.
First unofficial deal.
Yep.
And then what made you think that you can make a career out of it after doing that deal?
So even after I did that deal, I still didn't get the real estate bug yet. So remember, my biggest thing was freedom. So sold the property, went back to my mom's house. I moved from being on the second floor down to the basement, thinking I'm going to get my freedom now, because now I bought a car at this time and I'm going in and out the back door thinking I'm good. But then, you know, my mom washed clothes in the basement. So how our houses are set up, the washer and dryer is in the laundry room in the basement. So now I'm in the basement, and now everybody coming through the basement, and I'm like, I just put myself back in the same situation of not having freedom. So I was like, I can't do this. So then, you know, at that time, I was still going to college. I picked up a job. It was a gentleman at the job. He was telling me that his uncle or nephew was interested in selling another property. So I was like, well, how much he want for it? He was like, back then, I think it was like either $7,000 or $8,000. So I ran home. I went in my bag. I put together $10,000, and I ran back to the job, went to the building. I looked at it. Now, this time, the guy was like, look, we need to go to a title company.
Okay.
So now I'm learning. I'm like, a title company? What's that? So he was like, look, I'm gonna fill out this documentation. You're gonna sign it. At that time, I didn't know what it was, but that was an agreement to sell. But I didn't know then, so I signed it. Then he said, you're gonna call this company. It's called an Abstract Title Company, and they're gonna walk you through the rest of the process. That's when I started getting hooked up into real estate, because now I'm like, oh, this is a title company. Then I see the paperwork, and I did everything the right way. I sent the money to the title company. It wasn't no cash. I had to write a check. So I had the cash. I had to go put that in the bank and get a certified check to give to the title company.
Yeah.
So that was my official real estate deal on paper and understanding the paperwork. I had that, so I immediately moved out of my parents' house again. Like within hours, I came out of settlement, went and grabbed my stuff. I moved into this building. So the new building that I got this time was a quad. So it was 4 units. Paid $7,000, $8,000 for the building. I lived in every single unit, and I'm fixing the units up. As I got finished fixing the units up, I started placing tenants. So I think my very first tenant, I made $600 a month. And then, you know, probably like 2-3 months after that, I placed another tenant, you know, another $600-$700. Now I'm bringing in $1,200. And, you know, another 2 to 3 months, another $600. So now I'm bringing in $1,800 while I'm living in one unit. Now I'm like, okay, I like this, because now I'm putting money in my pocket.
Right.
So now I said, you know what? I got to figure out how to do this the right way.
And so how did you figure out how to do the right way? So because you were kind of learning on the job.
Yep.
pretty much. Were you in your 20s at that time?
So
you a
this
young
time,
man?
I'm like 21, 22.
21, 22. What are your peers doing, like, around you, your homies, your friends? Like, what are they saying? Like,
You know what? That's a real interesting question, Mike, because nobody ever asked me that. I was a geeky kid. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a lot of friends.
Okay.
So when I was going through high school, you know, I was like that nerd type guy. You know, my confidence was low. You know, I ain't had no swag. I ain't had no nothing. You know, my best friend was a neighbor that lived across the street from me. So we kind of hung out. So I didn't really have peers around me that I could see what everybody else was doing because I was a loner. You know, and then once I started doing more deals, I started picking up, friendships and things of that nature.
yeah.
But when I was getting into real estate, I was really talking to my family. You know what I mean? My cousins, and like I said, they was in the streets. So me telling them about real estate, to them, that's slow money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They was into getting fast money. So they didn't really believe in me either, though. They was like, nah, $600. They were like, I make that in an hour. You talking about 30 days. You know what I mean? Like they really wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
So then at that point, I was really by myself. So I said, you know what? I really want to understand what I did. So I went back to school. I was in school for criminal justice. My family wanted me to be the family attorney and lawyer. So once I did the real estate deal, and I wanted to understand the dynamics of it, I went back to school and took up business management. And then I took myself to real estate school and I got my real estate license because I wanted to learn the process. I didn't have anybody to talk to.
All right. So you went to real estate school.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You became a realtor.
I did.
Did you pick up any advantages of being a realtor in this career of yours?
You know what? That's interesting too, because to be very transparent with you, no. The only real advantage that came for being a realtor was access. Okay. I was able to get access to get inside of properties faster. Yeah. I was able to get information on who owned the property because they taught me that. But as far as the information, when I went to real estate school, I would probably say 95% of everything that I learned in real estate school, I didn't do in the field. When you take the real estate exam, like, you got to do numbers, percentages, and the information that you do, 95% of that stuff is not in the real working world. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to do, percentages like half of fractions like that is 2.5, 3%, 4%, 5%, right? It wasn't all the stuff that you had to study. Yes, I believe that it's great because it taught you the law of real estate, right? So it taught me to understand the county and the state rules and regulations. That was a plus, right? But outside of that, as far as being inside the properties, it was just access.
Bingo. Did you ever sell a home with your real estate license?
All day long, I still do.
So okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So you did use it to that advantage.
So that's the access
that's
I'm talking about.
Right.
So it's like, when I buy a property now as an investor, the average person that fix up a property and put it on the market, whether you are a typical homeowner selling your property or you're an investor selling it, if you use realtors, that means that you're paying both sides of the transaction. You got the selling agent and then you have the buying agent. And most times it's 6% or 5%, and they're splitting that half and half. Well, I kept my real estate license because now I'm listing my own properties. Only have to pay one realtor, right? I only got to pay the realtor that's bringing the buyer. But if I find a buyer, I'm paying nobody.
Paying yourself.
Yeah, so that's why I keep my license today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 1991 first property.
Yeah.
We in 2025. That's 36 years later.
Yeah.
Catch me all the way up, like from 91 to 25. Like, what did we accomplish?
Oh man, I took off.
Yeah.
I took off, man. I learned real estate a little bit different from the traditional people. So I got into real estate with turnkeys. I really wasn't crafty with work. And I didn't understand contractors yet. I didn't have my resources to build it up. Nobody taught me how to do real estate like a business yet. So I was buying turnkey properties. After I bought probably my 15th turnkey property, I eventually ran into a gentleman by the name of George Anderson. He was doing new construction, and I was a realtor. So he wanted to hire me to sell some of the new construction that he built, and he took a liking to me. And then he showed me how to do new construction. He showed me how to handle myself a little bit more maturely. He told me about LLCs and stop putting properties in my personal name. So he was the first person that said, listen, you doing real estate wrong. So that coach, that leader, that mentor, he took me, he embraced me, took me in and redesigned my whole entire process of what I thought about real estate. And then I took his information, I took it to the next level. And even to today, it was him being my mentor to now me being his mentor.
Bingo. So, what is a turnkey property? When you say turnkey, what does that mean?
So turnkey basically is a property that's already set, ready to go. Most times it comes with a tenant already in place, right? So basically I was buying the properties. First I was getting a couple of them in my name. Then I was using something called a DSCR loan, right? And inside of the DSCR loan, I was buying the property. I did a little bit of work, but didn't really have to do work because the property was habitable. There was people living in the property. So I was buying the property and was already acquiring cash flow from the property. So turnkey basically means exactly what it sounds like. You put the key in, you turn it, somebody can live there. So it is a turnkey investment.
Okay, turnkey investment. Is that your only strategy that you use now?
Oh no, man! I do it, man. Listen, I'm multifaceted right now. So right now I do something called the cash flow roadmap, where I teach people how to buy, flip, hold until they cash flow supersede they flips. So I'm doing everything, man. I've done wholesale, new construction, turnkey, full gut rehabs, partial rehabs, private lending and investing, flipping notes. I'm all in, man. I'm all in. Yeah.
And I kind of know you quite well just by watching you online and things like that.
Yeah.
You really take things into like a systematic approach, right?
Absolutely.
You believe in everything needs to have a systematic approach to be successful. What is your buy, hold, flip? Did I say that right? Buy, flip, hold?
Buy, flip, hold.
Buy, flip, hold. Is that a systematic approach that you take?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So a lot of times when we talk about systems, people don't understand that systems mean save yourself time, energy, money, and stress. Right. So if I do real estate, but whatever you do, if you don't have a system in place, you're really spinning your wheels. Right. So you got to have a system. My buy, flip, hold method is I come into real estate and I teach individuals, whether if you new or you seasoned, that if you have money, then you can go right in and you can probably get the turnkey method, or you can go in and do your rehab. If you don't have the money, you can come in and you can do probably a wholesale deal. So the first key is the buy. Right. You got to understand your numbers. You got to understand your location. You got to understand the business of real estate. Right. You're going to buy that property. Once you buy the property, now you have options and opportunities. Right. A lot of times people teach real estate, but they don't teach you different exit strategies. I'm always going to give you 3 to 4 exit strategies on whatever you buy. Right. So that first property you buy, typically I come in with a single family home. A lot of people don't like single family homes. But if you look at a single family home, the single family home is the #1 retail selling product when it comes to real estate. I don't care what market you in. You can always find a single family home buyer. FHA, NACA, right, is a traditional buyer that's going to buy a single family home. So I buy that single family home, I fix it up. If I buy it low enough where the interest rates is low, I might keep that property as a hold, right? I place a tenant in there. If not, I'm going to fix the property up and I'm going to flip it. So I bought it. Now I flipped it. Now we get into my exit strategy systems. I'm going to take the profit off of that because when you flip a property, that's capital gain tax. And a lot of people don't talk about that online because they don't know the business of real estate, right? So the capital gain comes off the flip. I give you 2 options. The first option is you can run it through a 1031 exchange. Once you run it through the 1031 exchange, now you can put the money inside of there and you don't have to pay our uncle that we never see, which is Uncle Sam, right? So you're evading Uncle Sam just slightly, right? So then you go through a 1031 exchange, you take the money out of the 1031 exchange and you buy another rental property at equal value or higher. That's your first exit strategy. A next exit strategy is you can flip that single family home and then you can take that into a IUL life insurance policy, right? IUL life insurance policy compounds a 10, 11, 12%. Most people take their profit and they put it inside of a bank. I don't believe in putting my money in the bank. I believe putting my money into institutions that's going to work for me. Your dollar is your employee. Right. So all the dollars that you have in the bank, that's how many employees you have in the bank. So if I'm putting my money in the bank, but the bank is only giving me 0.0025% on my money, I put my money in the IUL and I'm getting 8, 9, 10, 11, 12% on the IUL. I can pull the money out of the IUL and now I'm going to buy my hold. So I just gave you 2 exit strategies when you flip the property, right?
Right.
Excuse me. So once you flip that property, now you got 2 exit strategies. The profit that comes whether off the IUL or the money that's coming out of the 1031 exchange, now you buy your hold. When you buy the hold, now you're doing something called the BRRRR method. So now I'm going to buy the multifamily property that I got to fix up. I'm going to fix that property up. I'm going to place a tenant. I'm going to cash out refi. I'm going to take the proceeds off the multifamily property because guess what? You can't tax a loan. So now I did something called squeeze the bricks. So I bought a property, great numbers, great price. I placed a tenant inside of there. I typically pull out 65 to 75%. I try not to go over that. I pull out 65%. I take that money. I run it back through the process. I put that money back into the IUL. So now the money that I took out of the IUL to buy the property is already compounding. Then I just pulled money out of the bricks. I squeezed the bricks. I put that money back in the IUL to compound again. So the difference is, like, if I put $100,000 in the bank, and I don't want to call no bank names out because we're not going to promote them yet, right? So if I put $100,000 in the bank and I take the $100,000 out, the next 30 days, the interest on that money is gone because the bank is not holding the placement of the $100,000. But if I take $100,000 from the property and I put it inside of the IUL, and then I pull out 80 to 90% off the IUL has a placement hold of the 100,000. Right. Even though I put the 100,000 back into real estate, the IUL is still compounding on that 100,000. Right. So now, I bought the rental property. That's my that's my cash out refi. I'm bringing money off of that back in IUL, and now I'm pulling money off the tenants of the cash flow. So the tenants are now servicing the loan, and the difference between my expenses and the tenant servicing the loan is my positive cash flow. That's buy, flip, hold until your cash flow supersedes your flips. I know it was a lot to unpack.
I got it too.
Yeah.
There was a lot to unpack. Really just kind of blew my mind with that. And it really sounds like you're not just speaking intellectual property. It feels I feel like you're really doing this.
For sure.
Like you really got these policies.
Yes.
And damn, that's cold. That's cold. So I know, like, me having mentors, one of the biggest advantages of having a mentor is just bypassing mistakes.
Yeah.
You got 36 years in the game.
Yeah.
What type of mistakes have you made early on and then kind of currently? So early on mistake, what type of mistake did you make?
Yeah, so my 34 years in, man, I don't look at them as mistakes though, Mike. I look at them as lessons. Right.
Facts.
You know, because you got to have a lesson for your next blessing, right? And I'm still taking lessons.
Okay.
I would say my biggest lesson and the biggest opportunity is not finding a coach or mentor sooner, right? I've had probably about 10 to 12 properties in my personal name that I should have never done. I should have never done that. It cost me money, thousands and thousands of dollars later, because I had to sell those properties from my personal name to my business. And I had to use a DSCR loan to do it. And then back then I had to put down 20%. So it was like I lost a whole lot of money doing that. The other lesson was allowing people to tell you what you can't do. Right. Yeah. Like remember I told you, I didn't have a lot of friends, but I had family. And as I'm learning and growing in real estate, I would always go to my family when we had, family functions, barbecues, holidays. I pulled up with my laptop. Right. They like, oh, here he go again. I'm coming with my lady. What's your credit score? What's your credit score? Let's get together, get this money together, get this real estate. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, I hear you. But listen, we trying to, relax and celebrate. You want to drink? No, I don't drink. No, that's not what I do. I'm here to try to take my family to the next level. But nobody believed in me. And I allowed that to slow my process. Because I'm thinking like, well, if my family telling me this is not really the right thing to invest into, maybe I'm looking at things wrong. And had I had a mentor to be like, yo, block them out.
Right.
If they ain't with you, they ain't with you. Right. So that mentor allowed me to stay on course, believe in me. And the one thing my mentor always told me is that I don't care how many properties you get. I don't care how many years you got in real estate. You need to always be a sponge. You need to always learn every single opportunity that you have. So even though I got 34 years in, I'm still learning. I still go to conferences. I still book people's, calls, and I'm still investing in myself in real estate because real estate transition, real estate pivots, real estate correct itself. I was around for 2008. I seen what happened, right? So I know that the most valuable piece for me in my business is investing in myself, and my mentor taught me that.
Speaking of 2008, is that when the market crashed?
Yeah, man. So 2008 is real unique though, Mike, because a lot of people that's younger, they feel like, oh, investors messed up, they over leveraged. 2008 didn't crash because of investors. And if anybody that was around in 2008 like I was, it wasn't the investors that made the market crash. It was the lenders.
Yeah. Tell me
Right.
if I'm wrong. So I heard the reason why 2008 happened was because of over evaluating properties. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of appraisals were too high, which it
Mhm.
shouldn't been.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yep. So it was a combination of some things. It was the appraisal, but the biggest thing is that lenders that were trying to create the DSCR program, you had small lenders. They was trying to figure out, how do we get more people money without holding the accountability and the liability, right? So what they did was they said, okay, the average homeowner stays in their home anywhere between 5 and 8 years. And that's how they calculated it. If the average homeowner for a primary resident stays 5 to 8 years. Back then, the biggest thing when you was a homeowner, and it's still a little big today, was people was buying homes to go in neighborhoods for school, for education,
Right.
and to be safe. So the lenders said, okay, if the average homeowner stays in their home 5 to 8 years, we're going to create this loan product that says that, hey, you can have a low credit score, you can get this property and only pay interest only. You can pay interest only for 5, 8 to 10 years. At the end of 10 years, you're going to get a balloon payment at the end of that year, and now you got to pay us, right?
Yeah.
So, but what the lender thought was, well, when we get to 5 to 8 years, the person's going to sell. So even if they don't have the money, if they sell the property, we still got first lien holder on the property. We'll get paid. Well, what you think happened?
No, that ain't happened.
In 5 to 8 years, everybody was trying to sell.
Right.
So if you got all these properties on the market that people are trying to sell and nobody's buying it, they was only paying interest only.
Right.
So that means the principal number never moved anywhere. Right? So now that means that the property that was appraised, to your point, it was overappraised higher because they felt like in 5 years the property value was going to, creep up. Right? It didn't happen.
Right.
So guess what those people did?
The balloon hit, right?
The balloon hit.
Yeah.
But guess what though? Those people already had low credit scores.
Ooh.
So they didn't already mentally know what the risk was going to be for walking away. And guess what they did? They walked on the banks. They walked away. So that's when the market
That's
crashed.
called the market crash.
The
right
market
there.
crashed. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. All right, so I'm gonna get a little coaching right here, real quick for my current situation.
Yeah.
So I got Coach Cannon in the building.
Yeah.
And so I own a property, and there's a term that I've heard called seller financing.
Yep.
Have you ever done that?
I have. Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because I've been
Yeah.
hearing a lot of stuff about it. I really want to understand it for myself. Do you think that's a good method?
So
Owner financing. I
owner
think
financing.
Owner
Yeah.
financing.
So it's called subject to. The proper name is subject to.
Okay.
So basically what it is, so it's two things. You have owner financing and then you have subject to. Subject to means that the property owner has a mortgage on the property, and they got a good interest rate, and you're going to buy the property and you're going to subject to that property, and you're going to take over the mortgage, right? So you're going to continue to pay that seller's mortgage and keep that interest rate for a particular period of time. That's one strategy.
Okay.
Owner's financing is this property could be free and clear. And you're like, okay, look, I want to buy this property. It's free and clear, or you could have a mortgage on it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Can you not have it free and clear?
No.
'Cause I don't own mine's free and clear. I pay a mortgage on it.
Absolutely. So you can have a mortgage on it. Somebody come along and say, listen, I can't afford to get a mortgage, or I don't have the money for a down payment
Or the credit.
or the credit. But what I do have is I can give you some money, and if you hold the note for this particular time frame, after this particular time frame of the balloon payment, I'll come in and give you that balloon payment. And that's pretty much how like is a good strategy if the person that you are coming into contract with, you believe that they can close out the deal. And I don't mean close out the deal to just get the keys and move in. That's the entry level that a lot of people get stuck with.
Okay.
What's the exit level? Can this person really close you out? Can this person really buy your property? Because if they fold, that means that one, you didn't sell your property. So if your situation was I need to sell, I would just sell.
But I thought that was the whole strategy behind it. Like knowing that person is not going to close the deal. You've already made the down payment. You get your house back, right?
Yeah. You. So yes, you can. That's not how it was structured to be. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's what's going to happen, because most people
Yes.
don't stay in the house for 1 to 5 years.
Yes, that's correct.
And then, they may lose their job. They may call you back and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I can't afford it." But
Yeah.
now they've gave you that big down payment. I've
Yeah.
collected money
Yeah.
for you to pay off my house.
Yeah.
And now I got my house back plus the down payment.
True. except for a couple intricate things that could happen. So the first, so what you're talking about more is almost like a rent to own thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
if you're gonna do seller financing and hold the note, that structure should be where the buyer really buys the house. You know what I mean? So now I get it. Things happen financially and sometimes people fall off. But that structure, like your contract should be based upon, listen, you're going to pay this amount of money for this particular time. And then this time is going to go by. You're going to give me another lump sum, then another lump sum, then another lump sum. So the goal is to keep the person in there financially for you to hold the note for them to actually get the property. I mean, that's the real deal, right? Mindset of it.
Okay.
The kind of what you're leaning on is rent to own. I'm gonna rent you this property. The rent might be $2,000. I'm gonna charge you $2,500.
Yeah.
$500 is gonna go towards your down payment in order for you to get a loan to buy this property. When you sell it seller financing, you're not anticipating them to get a loan. You're basically saying that, hey, I'm gonna be your lender.
Yeah.
With the pretense of hopefully you're gonna buy it
Right.
or I'm gonna get my property back.
I'm gonna get my
Now,
property
but think
back.
about it like this.
Okay.
So you put somebody in, you seller financing it. After 5 to 10 years, let's call it 5 years. After 5 years, they fold. They don't want to leave. Now you don't have no renter's license. So now, I mean, if your city and state requires a renter's license, now you got to go hurry up and get a renter's license because now you got to evict that person. Now they in there, now they're going to tear your property up. So now let's say you go in there and you got to dump another 15, 20,000. Was it really worth the 5 years, or did you just put the money right back into the property to put it back up to specs again? So was it really worth it? You know what I mean? So I tell people be very mindful when you do seller financing that you don't want to do seller financing for more than 5 to 10 years. Because the person that's asking for seller financing, their credit might be bad, but they probably touching some money.
Exactly.
So at that point, you really want to sell the property. You know what I mean? Like you want to put them in position to say, listen, I need you to buy the property. If you're not going to buy the property, then we're going to do rent to own. Because now I'm going to get a renter's license on you. Because if you default, I can hurry up and get you out of here. And then I can just keep my property as a rental property.
Right.
But when you go in for, I'm going to hold the note, you don't have no renters, no, you don't have a lease. You have a buying contract.
Okay.
So if they fold on you, now you got a tenant, you got a squatter.
Okay.
So I don't know what particular state the property's in, but if you in a blue state, you're gonna have a hard time getting that person out.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So is it a good thing? Yes, if it works for you.
If it works.
However, make sure you cross your T's, dot your I's, and understand the business.
It seemed like I need to do the rent to own strategy.
Yes.
It's more safe, right?
It protects you.
Yeah.
Because what happens with the rent to own, you're in position to evict if need be.
Okay.
If you're doing the I'm gonna hold the note, now the person, you know, they fall out, they can't pay you. Now you defaulting on a quote unquote loan that you gave them. Now you got to eject them out the property,
Right.
but you don't even got a lease.
Right.
So now you starting over from scratch. Now that person is actually they went from a buyer to a tenant now.
Okay.
I was just keep them as a tenant until they get their money right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's more protection for you.
Now, would it be smart for me to refinance the house first? Like, go ahead and pull money out,
Yeah.
and then do the rent to own play?
I mean, so I tell people this: when you get into real estate, you got to know what your end game is. What's your ultimate end game?
My end game is to make some money up front, go get another house, have somebody pay off this house, and then have a property at the end of the day paid off by somebody else.
So your end strategy really is not to sell.
Right.
Your end strategy is to make money off the bricks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I would move away from the seller financing.
Okay.
Right? Because you're kind of going in with the I'm gonna sell you my house, but psych, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like you going in with like, just please miss this payment. You know what I mean? Because once you miss this payment, this is all defaulted. Nah, I mean you wasting time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just
right.
go in with the intentions that you actually have. I want to make money off my property. Let me give you some strategy.
Okay.
So what I would probably do is if you got a mortgage on the property right now, but the equity is up, I would probably go in and I would squeeze the bricks. I would squeeze the bricks as far as I can go, as long as the tenant can service the loan. So the first thing I'm going to do is check my numbers and check the market. Okay. What's the highest rent that I can get without no complications? If that rent is, X amount of dollars, right? Let's say you can bring in $2,500. Well, I'm gonna squeeze the bricks and maybe I'll get a mortgage up to $1,800, maybe around that area, between $1,800 and $2,000, right? So now you cash flowing $500 a door, right? So now you took money out the property. Now you got money in your pocket. You refied. Now you place the tenant inside the property that's servicing that loan, right? Now you making money the right way. The other strategy is you can do a refi and then sell the property.
Would somebody buy a house that's already kind of money taken out of it? Does that affect them?
But yeah, why wouldn't they? People sell them all day.
Okay.
So think about it like this:
Yeah.
when you go buy a house and they got a mortgage on it, the mortgage gets satisfied first.
Right.
Everybody that sell a house is not free and clear, right? So if you take the money out and then you go sell that property, here's what you did, and I want everybody to pay attention to this because this is one of my strategies that I teach.
Okay.
You get a property, you fix it up, you cash out refi, you pull 65% of the money out. Now you put the property on the market. So let's say you bought the property for, $200,000. And then let's say you pulled out, $50,000, $60,000 off the property, right? Let's say the property was worth $300,000, $360,000, right? So now when you pull the equity out of that property, you place the property on the market, guess what Uncle Sam can do? You just lowered your tax liability because you took the money out. So you created a loan on the property. Mm-hmm. And then when you sold the property, you had to satisfy the loan first. So if you satisfied the loan, let's just say the balance was $20,000 versus $100,000 versus $80,000 to $100,000, which is 25% taxable, right? You just saved yourself by pulling the money out first through a loan. You put it in your pocket. Now you sell the property, is less money that you have to pay Uncle Sam because now you have a higher debt on the property.
And when you refi, that's tax-free money too, right?
All day long. Okay. All day long.
Cool. I got you on that. You on that. So if I was to do that and I wanted to buy another property while I have someone renting to own, can I move that personal house to a business name? Is that possible?
So here's what I would do. This is what happened to me before I had a mentor, right? So I had properties in my personal name and I was renting them out. Your liability is higher because now your name is on the bricks.
Exactly.
Somebody slip and fall. Right, you don't have that LLC or you don't have that business protecting you. Although I mean they can sue you regardless, right?
Exactly.
But I would at least want it to be protected. Where if you're going to sue the business, you only suing that portion of the business, not suing what my last name is and anything else, any other assets that I have in my last name.
Okay.
Right. So what I would do, what I would recommend is going to cost you a little bit. I would sell the when you go refi the property, you want to refi the property within a purchase. So you're going to sell it from Mike to, Mike's Home LLC at this particular dollar amount. So at settlement, you're going to get a check. So you basically squeeze the bricks, but then you place the property inside of the LLC the same time of the sale. Now you're going to get hit with the transfer tax and different fees like that, but it's worth it because now you got protection. You pulled the money out. Now you got protection. Your name is off the bricks. Mm-hmm. So you basically just selling the property to your business for a higher dollar amount, and then you're getting the reserves off of that to place in your pocket.
Ooh,
and it's tax free.
That's some game right there. Free game on the Building Billions podcast right there, Coach Cannon. Yeah, man, I love it. That was some real game, like for real. All right, so cool. Let's get back into like mentoring, man. So you are a mentor because you've been in this space. Yeah. Okay, mentor / coach.
Yeah.
What does your mentorship kind of look like? If I was a student of yours, what does that look like?
Yeah. So for me, you just can't click no link and join my mentorship. You can click a link and join my community, but when it comes to joining my mentorship, we need to have a conversation, right? I need to understand where you are, what's your real estate goals. Do you understand the business of real estate? Have you been doing real estate, and who taught you? Because sometimes when you go from one mentor to another mentor, I'm going to need you to erase some of the habits that you learned that's probably not working for you, right? But when you come to me, you're not just a mentee, right? One, you're a student, then you become a leader, then you become family. Everybody who's joined my program is now an extension of my family, right? And that's my real estate family. If you're not ready and in position to execute, I always have something for you to learn and grow. So if you say, hey, you know what, my credit score is a little down, I'm working on that, I'm working on some funding. Okay, then maybe you need to be over here in my community where I'm in there every single day, right? My whole team is in it every day, right? You're going to learn from the community while you're building up what you got to build up. Then we slowly transition you over to where you need to be, right? So if you say, okay, well, I got some money, And I just need a little bit more information so I can get to the next level to start executing. Well, then maybe you need to be in my master class, right? My master class is a 4-week master class where, I'm going to be with you for 4 weeks teaching you how to execute properly. Then you might say, man, I done been in the community. I did the master class. I got my money right. I got a couple properties. I need you to get me to the next level. Then we talking that you need me one-on-one. I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to take you to the moon. And then that's when you're going to excel and go through the roof. So my mentorship have different phases. It's for everybody. I have something for everybody. If somebody says, well, I want to do real estate, but I'm not sure, just talk to me. I'm going to put you where you need to be, right? Cost effective. You're going to get there. You're going to start learning, and we're going to move you along the process until we hit your goal. That's the reason why you just can't click no link and sign up. We got to have a conversation. What's your goal? And I want to make sure that I can help you and get to that goal, because if I can't, I'm going to tell you I can't.
Man, I really never seen a coach even do that. Like nowadays, it's click that link, pay, and throw you into the water.
You want to hear something interesting? So when we was in Miami, I was in my room with my cousin, and I got 2 phone calls. 2 people called me. It was like, hey, I want to join your one-on-one mentorship program. I said, what's your credit score? And the first person was like, hey, I'm still like in the 580s. I said, stop right there. I said, listen, I said, my one-on-one mentorship at that time was $15K. I'm like, if you pay me $15K with a 580, I'm not helping you. I'm hurting you, because you could have took that $15K and got your credit right first. So I said, listen, here's what I want you to do. I'm gonna refer you to somebody, right? Yes, I want you to get your credit right. Once you get your credit right, get some funding, then come back and see me, because now I can work with you and get you to the next level.
Sheesh.
Another young lady called. She was like, hey, I heard you do, hands-on training in Philadelphia. I said, yes. She said, I have a couple properties, but I want to sign up for your mentorship, your one-on-one. I said, okay. I said, are the properties in your name? She said, no, I inherited the property. I said, okay, cool. I said, do you have time to do this? I said, I teach every Friday. She's like, no, I work full time. I was just really looking to get some information. No, this ain't for you.
This ain't for you.
This ain't for you, because here it is. If I take your money and I'm going to deliver every day, right? Information on me, execution on you.
Right.
So if you can't execute, then we wasting each other's time. Right. And my little cousin looked at me. He was like, cousin, you just let 30,000. I said, no, I didn't let go nothing. I said, because what's going to happen is they're going to get into a program and they can't perform. I don't win until my mentees win. We win together. So I'm not that coach. I'm not that mentor that's just out clicking links. No, we need to have a conversation. How can I help you? Because if I help you and I take you to the moon, you're going to tell somebody else, and you're going to let them know, yo, Calvin really did it for me. He put me in position to win, and he turned me down the first time I came to him. Right? All money, not good money.
What's one of the biggest success stories that you have from one of your mentees? I know you probably have a lot of them, but give me 1 or 2.
Yeah. So the very first one, I had a mentee. She went through a lot of people programs, right? I mean, she's I want to say she probably had like 4 or 5 coaches and mentors before me, but she didn't understand what a coach and a mentor was, right? So, and just to break that down, because a lot of people don't. Like, a lot of people use the terminology, but they don't really know, right? So your coach is somebody who's giving you skill sets. Training is like college. Right. So when you come to me, first I'm your coach. Then you transition and graduate to be a mentee. Then I become your mentor. Then you transition to be a leader, because I'm going to teach you how to lead. Then you become family. Right. So a coach is like a college course. I'm giving you the business of real estate. If you're not doing real estate like a business, you have no business doing real estate. Right. So I'm gonna break that portion down. Once you get that portion, then I'm going to give you the mentorship, which is my 34 years of experience. The things that I've been through. Mentorship is nothing but the experience of the person that's speaking to you. It's not, it's not skill sets, it's experience. So this particular young lady, she had 4 or 5 mentors / coaches. And when she came to me, she was like, I'm spending money, but I'm not going anywhere. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, well, this person mentored me. I said, I don't even care about who mentored you. What I care about is, when can you show up for me? I said, my mentorship is on Fridays. Can you show up? She said, yes. The first day, I isolated her from everybody else. I sat down with her for 3 hours. I said, listen, I want to explain something to you. Everything that you thought you learned, I want you to get that out of your head. And we're going to start over fresh. We walked through her property. She was in the middle of a rehab. I finished the rehab with her, right? Rehab golden, looking good, right? Then she picked up another property, probably like 2-3 months after that. Then probably like 6 months after that, she picked up another property. So now she understands the system and she still shows up for class. She understands that, okay, my coach got me 3 properties done. I'm sitting good, and she still works a 9 to 5, and she still show up for class.
True.
That's the student that you want.
Yeah.
They operating. Now when she come to class, guess what? She bring her kids. She bring her sons. They coming down, they learning. Because she wants to pass that down to them. That's the first success story. The other story is I had a mentee, this young man, he wanted to be in real estate so bad, but his credit was shot. He didn't really have the money. And I told him, I said, listen, you got to start small. Back then, I think my program back then was probably like $97, to be honest with you, right? He was like, yeah, I'm having a hard time getting money. I said, listen, I'm going to put you in my program for free. I'm going to put you in my program for free, but you got to do one thing for me. I said, one, you got to show up and you got to learn, right? He comes out, credit was shot, money was shot. When I tell you he didn't have nothing, I sent him, he got his credit fixed. He did that step. He came back, he started getting funding. He did that step. He started buying properties. He bought it. Now the first thing he did, which was a success story, but then kind of like a lesson, I told him, don't buy your primary property first. So we was doing my buy, flip, hold process. He bought a single family home, fell in love with it. I'm like, yo, I told you from day one, you don't get emotional about real estate. You never fall in love with something that you can walk away from. You never fall in love with it. He fell in love with the house. He moved his family in there. He stayed for about 6 months. He flipped the house. He bought another house. Then he opened up a contracting company. Then he bought another house. Then he bought a duplex. Like right now, today, he's probably sitting on 13, 14 properties and started with no money.
No credit.
No credit, no money. But the deal was you got to show up.
Right.
You got to show up. And guess what? He showed up. He showed up. I told him, I said, if you want this, you got to show me you want it. The first day you miss, you done. Because my investment was investing in him to show him. His investment was to invest in himself to show up. Information on me, execution on you.
Nah, I like that, man. You don't see a lot of coaches doing that.
Nah.
Like, really, that's one of a kind. That's very unique that you really care. And I really like how you take them from coach to mentee to leader to family.
Yeah.
That's a cold transition right there.
Yeah.
And that's something that I would look forward to, as a coach,
For sure.
Not somebody just going to click the link, pay, throw me in the community, and then I'm just another fly on the wall.
Yep.
It's like, hey, I like how you got yours set up.
Yeah, man.
So are you still hands-on your properties?
Hey, man, absolutely. Every single day.
Every day.
And people ask all the time, like, yo, when you going to retire? The thing is, I am retired. This is my retirement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I enjoy what I do. So one thing about real estate is very unique because people want to get into real estate because it sounds sexy. Hey, wealth is going through real estate. You gotta have real estate to be wealthy, right? No, that's just the hype. If you don't understand what you learn and if you don't understand real estate, then you're not going to be successful in real estate, right? So I always say, do something that you understand. I understand real estate. I love real estate, right? If I had to spend my last day doing a rehab, I would spend my last day doing a rehab. I tell my family too, like the day that I go, you can bury me in one of my properties because that's where I'm happy at. You know what I mean? And not to mention, if you bury me in the backyard, it's a tax write-off. You ain't got to pay taxes no more.
Yeah, who did that? It was
Trump.
famous. Trump did that?
Trump did that. He buried one of his ex-wife on his golf course.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay taxes
It's
anymore,
a cemetery
right?
now.
Yeah.
You don't got to pay no taxes.
Okay.
So for me, I love real estate. And if you do what you love, just keep doing it. It's not work.
Yeah.
It's not work. And I get frustrated. I go through the different things just like anybody else do. But the difference is that I don't let anything control my emotions, right? If control your emotions, it control your mind. If it control your mind, it control your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to love what you do. So I love real estate.
So most of your properties in-state, Philly.
Yes.
Why in-state
Good
versus
question.
out-of-state?
That's a great question. So I used to bounce around.
Okay.
And what I realized is that I had to niche down. And the reason why I had to niche down is because I like to build money in my backyard. I like to print money on demand. And printing money on demand is planting that seed for that money tree. Right now, some people say, well, you can go over here, you can go over there, the prices are cheaper. Yeah, but then I got to take a flight. Right. And I gotta put a team over there. I'm hands on. You know what I mean? So when I was flying around doing different things, going to different properties, it was good, but I felt like I didn't have no stability. I felt like I'm over here, I'm over there, I'm over there. And what I had to realize is that if I build in my backyard, if I build the bank, the Brinks truck in my backyard, I don't have to work as hard. I can literally right now get on a bike and ride to all my properties on a bike. And I got a lot of doors, but I can because they all in the same vicinity. So that means that when my maintenance man go here, I can set him up to go hit 15, 20 properties because he's in that facility. Right. Or when the roofer come out and I need work done, they know that they're operating in my circle. The other thing too is that I just understand my market very, very thoroughly. Yeah. Sometimes, if somebody sends me a deal, a wholesaler or anybody, I can execute that deal without seeing the property. I know the square footage. I know the inside of the properties. I've bought so many properties on I bought so many properties on the same block. I don't even got to walk them. I know if somebody come to me and say, hey, I got a property in 19150, single family home, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 2 bath, 1,400 to 1,800 square feet. I want $150,000 for it. I'm signing the contract. I don't care what the condition is. It don't matter what the condition is, because if it's 150, I know off the back I can flip it for 475. I know off the back a whole $100,000. I can get the entire place dropped in the inside, built right back up for 100,000. It don't matter what it look like inside. So when you know stuff like that, is because I've been in this backyard. You couldn't drop me in Indiana and I can do that. Eventually, after a while, right? You couldn't drop me here in Dallas and I couldn't do it. I can do my research and say, okay, this look like it's good. I don't want to do that. I want to cherry pick and put my money trees where they need to be, handle my business, right? And that's the key word, handle my business. If I'm over here, there, how I'm doing business? I got to place different people over there. I got to get property managers over there. I got to self-manage. I got to get contractors over there. I can't see what's going on. If a blind man can't see, he getting robbed. Yeah. Right? So I like to control the action of my business by having my hands on it. And that's why I no longer invest out of hell. Mike, I had properties 45 minutes away from where I invest and I sold them. And they was cash cows. I bought them for $100,000. I was cash flowing $1,000, $1,200 a door. Right. After the tenant serviced the loan, duplexes. So that was like, I was bringing in, $1,500, $2,000 a month. But guess what? I had to travel 45 minutes to an hour. I couldn't find the right contractor to fix things. Right. And I bought them turnkey. I never even did rehabs in them. But I sold them and I picked up more properties that's in my backyard. And the value was higher.
Yes. I like that. But how can you help someone that's not in your state? Yeah. Since you don't go out of state, like how can you help me in Texas when you don't know the backyard in Texas?
Because my system is powerful. Okay. Because I don't have to know what your brick is to teach you the numbers. Okay. See, here's the thing, and this is where people get lost and misconstrued. You're doing real estate as just doing real estate as an investor. I'm gonna teach you the business of real estate. I'm gonna teach you the numbers. I'm gonna teach you the business, so you can be dropped anywhere. You're going to get it because you're going to take my system and say, okay, coach said to look for this, and this. Let me find this. Coach said the 65% rule before I execute is this. It's just that you have a better advantage than I do because you're boots on the ground. But my system is universal, global. You can go to Mars and do my system. Yeah. As long as the numbers work, you know what I'm saying? Right. You make money on the buy. If you buy right, everything else falls in place. Because now, the better you buy, the multiple exit strategies you have to execute. Yes. You just can't be one dimensional. It's too many investors out here. All they know is wholesaling. All they know is flipping. All they know is rentals. So then when people say, oh, the interest rates is too high, it's a bad time to buy real estate. Oh, it's a seller's market. Oh, it's a buyer's market. I don't care what market it is. I got a strategy for every market because I'm not one dimensional. Right? I got a strategy for every market. And that's how, when you do real estate, that's the business of real estate. Do you have a strategy for every, people say to me all the time, like, yo, the interest rates is 7-8%. I say, stop crying. When I started real estate back in the 90s, my DSCR loan was 14%.
Right.
I was paying 14% and still cash flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that 7-8%. I know what to do with it.
Right.
Right? You got to learn the business.
Right.
And once you get that, you're going to eat forever.
So DSCR loan, that's
Yeah.
like a debt service loan, right?
Debt service coverage ratio.
Okay. What's the difference between that and like a hard money lender or an angel investor?
Yeah. So DSCR loan basically is you're not getting. So you got two types. So you got one, you can buy turnkey that we talked about earlier.
Right.
I'm going right in with a 30-year mortgage, 25-year mortgage, 40-year mortgage. That's called a debt service ratio, debt service coverage ratio. The property itself can coverage the debt in the loan on the mortgage without me doing anything. It's going right in coverage in the debt. Okay. Right. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have people that do rehab properties and they refi out of the bridge loan or they refi out of the construction loan with a DSCR loan, right? Because they placed that tenant, right? Hard money is a little bit more expensive. So you got hard money and private money. That's going to be more expensive than a DSCR conventional lender. So sometimes they might say, oh, you can go to the credit union, you can get a conventional loan. It might be 5 to 8%. That's still DSCR. Okay. Right? Then you might say, okay, I'm gonna go over here to this hard money guy, right? He might be 9-10% because he can get you the money faster. Right? Okay. DSCR might be cheaper money. Mm-hmm. Hard money lender is more expensive money. The faster you get the money, the more expensive it's gonna be. It's gonna cost you.
Okay.
It's gonna cost
so
you.
do you still recommend doing the fast way or?
I recommend having a strategy.
Yeah.
No matter if it's fast or slow. So I don't want to move fast. I want to move correct.
Yeah.
But if I know that I have an opportunity on the table that I need this money in 14 days and this opportunity on the table in the 14 days is going to get me to, my end strategy faster, yeah, get the fast money. But it's going to cost you. And you better know what you're doing. You know what I mean? So right. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I want the money. But then you get it and then it's like, okay, now what? No. So if I got the strategy, I got the business plan, I got the layout, I'm going to take the fast money. Okay. If I never did real estate before, you need to stay away from the fast money.
Yeah. And you always keep going back to the strategy, man. Like, I can't break you from that. Yeah. Like, you going to hit me with the strategy first. Sure. And then have an exit plan too.
Yes.
Like, you're not just telling me, hey, go do this.
You can't. Because you know why? Because I'm a stickler on the business of real estate.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to tell you, go buy the property and then go figure it out. No, that's not me.
Right.
I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that's going to say, what's the plan? Or we ain't got no plan, then we're going to talk tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, well, I want to go see some properties. You're not ready to go see no properties.
Right.
Because we need a plan. Right?
Yes.
I don't do nothing without a plan.
No, I love that. So let's talk about fix and flipping real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
What are the components, the key components for you to be successful in a fix and flip? Is it the contractor? Is it having your eyes on everything, making sure people don't screw you over? What are some key components to a fix and flip?
Yeah, so I ain't gonna make this long, but I gotta go deep in this. So the first thing is when you first get started in real estate, everybody only worry about the numbers. Mm-hmm. Oh, what's the numbers? What's the numbers? What's the numbers? What's the numbers? I worry about the business, right? When I first teach you real estate, the first thing I'm gonna ask you, who's your team? Who on your team? Everybody. If you ask any investor right now, who do you have on your team? You know what they're going to say? Oh, I got a contractor. Oh, I got a realtor. Oh, I got a title company. That's not your that's not your starting five.
Right.
This is why people fail in real estate. The people that you traditionally hear on Instagram and social media, that starting five, I'm sorry, that team team people that they name, that's the second string. That's the bench.
Right.
You know who your starting five is?
Right.
I call it CAL, CAAL, right? The first person is your coach.
Yep.
The second person is your accountant. The third person is your attorney.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Then the next person is your lender. If you're not starting real estate with them four people, you're not doing real estate, you playing.
Ooh,
right?
Definitely playing.
Because your coach is going to help you get your contractors because they're going to give you the resources. The coach is going to give you where you need to be and understand your numbers. That's why the coach is the number. Your coach is your MVP. Then after that, you got your accountant because the money got to be right.
Right.
How you talking about people like, oh, what is about the numbers? You don't even know how to calculate numbers because you ain't got no accountant. Right? After your accountant, you got your attorney. Because you're gonna get sued. It's not about if you're gonna get sued, it's when you're gonna get sued. So if you're doing this real estate over here and you ain't got that starting four, man, you're not really doing real estate right. So I say you start off with your starting 4 players. That's the people that I just named. Then after that, going into a flip, now you pick up your second string people, right? Most times when you're going into a flip, a lot of people don't understand how important it is to have location. Yes, your numbers got to be right. You got to have the numbers in order to execute. It's all about the numbers, but it's also about the location. Just because my numbers is right, and if I'm in a DE area, I don't got the location. So I can go in with the greatest numbers, but I might not be coming out right. You know why? Because nobody's going to buy that property. Nobody wants to buy in the hood. You might rent in the hood, but nobody wants to buy to live in the hood, right? So going to do a flip is the numbers, is the location, is your first string lineup, then it's your second string. The most important thing when you go and do a flip is you got to understand that neighborhood. You got to know what just sold. You got to know, are you getting a great deal? You got to know what the condition of the property is inside before you even get started, right? Once you get all that together, then you focus on the key elements: bathroom, kitchen, master bedroom, flooring, paint, basements. And you're going to win. You're going to win all day. I love flipping properties. People were like, oh, when I was in the middle of some of my flips, they was like, you going into the winter with a flip. Watch me. Oh, no, you're not going to be able to sell that. Watch me. I grabbed the flip. We was going into October, November. I bought right. My numbers was low. My rehab was tight. I put it on the market for starting off $350. I got 5 offers. One was $15,000 over asking price in the middle, going into the middle of winter. Why? Because my numbers was right. I knew that there was no property on that block. I bought a 3-bedroom house, 1.5 baths. I turned it into a 4-bedroom, 2 full baths, 3 half baths, and a finished basement. You can't deny me. There is nothing on the block. I created the pink elephant. There was nothing on the block like that. Guess what? People was killing to get in there.
Shoo.
That's how you flip properties.
Yeah. Nah, I appreciate that, Coach. That's cold right there. That's cold. So what you got coming up next? Like Coach Cannon, what does Coach Cannon got coming up next?
Yeah, so right now, man, I'm on a tour right now, my podcast tour, so make sure you guys tap in. I also released a whole lot of new programs that's going to help people a little bit more better, right? Like I was explaining earlier, like, so we re-released our community. So if somebody out there want to get into the community just to get closer to me, just to understand real estate a little bit better, jump into that. I also redesigned our masterclass for people who say, you know what, I just need a little bit of information, because you only need one piece of information to really get you going, right? And then you go back and you get more information, right? What happens with people is that they want all this information, they hold it. Now they got, analysis paralysis, and they don't execute nothing because they're trying to execute everything. Once you get that one piece of information, you go execute that. Then you come back and get more. Then you go back and get more, right? So we redesigned our masterclass. And then the third thing we did, we redesigned a Spend the Day with Me. So you can actually just come hang out with me for 8 hours. And it's basically like a strong crash course, but it's based on you. Right. So a lot of times people put you in communities, they put you in mentorships, they put you in programming as you with 15, 20, 30 other people. I mean, sad to say, you just a number, right? You just a ticket to them, right? You just a Stripe transaction. But when you spend a day with me, it's all about you and me. You come down, we spend 8 hours. 8 hours. We cut the phones off. The phones stay at the door. You come in. You bring you bring everything that you got. Your business plan. You know where you want to be. We spend the first hour going over what your final goal looks like. Mm-hmm. Then we spend the next 7 hours me formulating your roadmap. You spend the day with me. I'm breaking down your entire road. When you leave out of there, you're gonna be ready to execute. You're gonna be ready to execute. So we have that, and then of course we always got my one-on-one. I'm gonna hold your hand and walk you through this entire process.
How long do you hold my hand for that one-on-one?
6 months. So you get 6 months of training, and then you get 12 months of support.
Okay.
That's where the family coming at.
Family.
That's what you know what I mean. Coach, mentor, leader, family. So you get that whole 1 year, and I mean, to be transparent with you, I probably shouldn't say this, and I know my team gonna like you done did it again, running your mouth. When you do a one-on-one with me, and you get the 6 months training, I don't never cut you off.
I'm about to say you damn near stuck for life.
Yeah, and the reason why I don't cut you off is because you're going to have so much knowledge. You're only going to call me for things that you really stuck on, right?
Yeah.
But I don't never discommunicate the relationship. You know what I mean? So you got me for life.
I like that. I like that. So lastly, I got a fun segment on my podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so it's called This or That. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask you this or that. You got to give me the answer, and you got to also tell me why.
Okay, let's go.
It's gonna be all the way kind of off topic too.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so we're gonna go this or that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going tailored suit or a Men's Warehouse. Why?
I'm going to say tailored suit. And the reason why I say tailored suit is because you always want to be unique, and you want it to be designed just for you. You know what I'm saying? One thing about me is you'll learn in my process is when everybody go right, I go left. When they go left, I go right. I'm never following the crowd. I never ride the wave. I am the wave. So I always say tailored suit because it's tailored just for you.
All right, best tailored suit.
Yeah.
All right, so this or that, we're going to go Michael Jordan or Allen Iverson. Because I know you're from Philly. The Philly people going to be mad at you on this one.
Yeah, so you know what? That's a tricky one. You know, the true answer, everybody know the true answer is Jordan, right? But you know what I mean? I like AI, not because he's from Philly. The reason why I like AI is because he stood on business and did him. It got him in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
He lost money. He learned, but you know, he still was being him. He never changed who he was. He just matured into who he needed to be. But of course, you know, Jordan is, I mean, that's the legend. You can't never look over the legend.
All right, cool. So this or that, we're going to go DSCR loan or the Burr method?
Depends on your end strategy. Because both of them work.
Okay.
You know what I mean? For me, the transition that I'm going into right now is going to be more DSCR loan. And the reason why is because so many people doing the Burr method, and some people can get hurt with the Burr method if they don't understand it. But with DSCR loan, a lot of people say that you leave too much money, you leave too much equity in the bricks, right? One of my sons, I call him my son, man. I'm so proud of this kid, man. He did my career in 3 years, but my son, we talked about this a long time ago. He was like, yo, man, you leave too much money in the bricks, man. You know what I mean? You everything is on paper. I said, but listen, I said, one day you're gonna learn why I did it. He called me one day and he was like, yo, I understand why you do DSCR loans, because now you have equity inside the properties that you can leverage the equities off the property if you wanted to take out a blanket loan. So when you got equity in your properties and you're not touching it, now you have leverage. You can go get a line of credit, $500,000, because you got $2 million sitting in equity.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it makes sense for DSCR for me.
Okay. All right. So going back to the equity question, this or that, are we going equity or are we going to go with
cash flow,
cash in the pocket?
So I am a long-term investor. You got to be active before you come passive, right? So I always like active income. So I like equity because you can pull it out anytime you want. Cash flow is good until it's not good. So cash flow works if that's your immediate strategy, but for the long haul, equity.
Yeah, we can't get Coach Cannon off that strategy.
Yeah, you got to stay
stick to the strategy at all times.
Because that's what works. Because you know what? Because when you come off your strategy, you come off your game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, last one. So are we going to partner with our family or don't mix business with family? And why?
Money and blood don't mix. So I teach my family. And like I said, my mentees become leaders, and then they become family. Always remember this. Blood is thicker than water, right? But you need water to survive. And just because it's blood doesn't make us family. It only makes us related, right? We related because we share the same bloodline. Loyalty makes you family. So when you look at it on that aspect, it's going to be family because I'm not looking at my bloodline. I'm looking at who's loyal to me. Loyal people, I'm going to rock with you all day.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, I really like that. I
Yeah.
really like that.
Yeah.
Man, hey, look, Coach,
Yeah.
I appreciate you for coming, man.
Appreciate you.
Anything that you want to say? Did we covered a lot of stuff,
We did.
man.
Yeah.
Did we leave anything off the table that you want to really touch on before we get off?
So the only thing I want to say, man, is like if you out there looking to do real estate, I urge you to don't try to do it on your own. Right, you're gonna take a lot of lessons. Find somebody that's actively doing real estate. Tap in with them. If you want to tap in with me, you can find me on all social media platforms. Right, Calvin Cannon Jr. And if I'm not your guy, just tap in with somebody. Find somebody that you can tap into. Right, there's enough money out here for all of us. Right. The other thing is, get inside of a community. I don't care if you can't afford a mentorship or one-on-one. You can at least afford a community where you can start getting information that you can start executing and getting to the next level. The more you sit on the sideline and you just watching everybody else win, everybody's going to win around you, and you're going to be the only one left doing the same thing you was doing last year, right? So get off the sideline, jump into a community, get close to somebody, get to the business, start handling your business.
All right, Coach. Hey, appreciate that, Coach, for tapping in with me at the Building Billions podcast, where I bring all my super friends, bring them to Dallas, give us $1 million worth of game, a lot of strategy, real results. Keyword strategy. If you don't have a strategy, you're going to run into a dead end.
There you
and
go.
That's Coach Cannon right there, man.
For sure.
I appreciate you for coming out, man.
Appreciate you,
blessing
man.
my platform with all this knowledge, man. 30 plus years in the game.
Yeah.
I'm only 37. Like, hey, man, that's a lot of game you done gave me. So
for sure.
I appreciate that, Coach, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see your growth. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to see your success, man, how you continue to help people, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm just blessed to have you here, bro.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be here, man. Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to talk to your audience, man. And listen, y'all, I want to pose a challenge before we get off here. The challenge is I want you to make sure that you go to the podcast. If you're watching the podcast right now, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, right? And then after you subscribe, I want you to shoot me a DM, and I want you to let me know what is it that you learned from this podcast. Just talk to me. Let me know what is it that you learned from this podcast. All right?
All right. It's the Building Billions podcast, another fire episode. Make sure you like, share, comment, and we out.
Let's go.